All right, so it's funny that you mentioned that this kept you up or you've been thinking about it a lot since we kind of touched on it last night. So have I. So, talking about assessing data for your group programming and what exactly should you be measuring? How do you really know if your group programming is doing its job? And if it is, great. What are you measuring to actually see that? How do you know that the collective group is actually getting better? Well, first you have to define what the goal of your group offering is. And before I get into this, I think it's really important to draw this line in the sand and to kind of make this distinction. I think that we can all agree that retention with clients that are doing personal training, so one-on-one, client and coach, is exponentially greater than what we typically see in the group setting. Yes, clients will stay for years in the group setting, but we've got data to show that when it's one-on-one, when that coach to athlete relationship is one-on-one, that they'll stick around for a decade or even more than that. And I think a big reason is because we come in knowing, okay, what is your one goal or maybe a couple of goals that you're working towards, and then we can actually measure those things, and see, are they getting better day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, and we can make those little adjustments and tweaks when it's one-on-one. I think it's a lot more difficult to do it for a group, but I do think and know that it is possible. So the first thing that we have to do is just like what we do with a one-on-one client. We actually have to define what the goal is. In this case, though, we're not saying the goal for one person, we're saying the goal for the group training that you do. What is the actual goal? The second thing is, okay, we need to deliver on getting people or the group collectively to that whole, and we need to actually measure what it is that we're doing. So just as an example, we've said this at my gym, and I've seen a ton of other gyms. We've seen that people have goals to get the group healthy and happy. All right, healthy and happy. And if we do this in a perfect world, we achieve both goals, then it's kind of like this little overlap in the Venn diagram is what gets filled in. But the way that I think of this is, okay, we've defined what the goal is. How are we actually going to measure that? Well, I think in each of these cases, you can look at it from an objective and a subjective matter, right? So objective is I'm looking at the data and what the data shows me, not clouded by my own personal judgment. So objectively, on the healthy side, what we can say is, do you have biomarkers, traditional health biomarkers that improve? Is your cholesterol, your blood pressure, taking blood work and all that stuff, is that getting better? It's very black and white. Go to a doctor, here's where you are now, here's where you are today. I'm not saying that we take blood in the gym, but that is one way that objectively you can measure, a client within a group population. But that is an important thing to bring up. It's really hard to do that for a whole group. Are they getting blood work done, stuff like that? So we need something that's a little bit more accessible. So wearable tech is huge these days, things like the Whoop. I've got several clients that have been using that now. It'll give you really good measures on, stress levels, strain, how are you sleeping, things like that. So wearable tech offers another objective measurement. And then something that CrossFit gyms have been really, really good at is just traditional fitness. We'll just call them fitness metrics. So, is your 2K row getting better? Is your Fran time going down? Are you getting stronger? Which is important to bring up because I think we can agree that if our fitness metrics improve, we know that some of these other things improve as well. But it's also important not to just be focused on the health aspect because I can be, healthy over here, but if healthy means I've got to forego maybe eating some foods that I would typically enjoy, or I'm not spending time with family because I'm at the gym so long, okay, well then I've got a person that's not happy. So we also need to make sure that we measure on the happy side. So there's actually something called the Happiness Survey. Oxford did it. You can go to, happiness-survey.com, and it's I think like 25 or 30 questions ranked 1 to 5 that judge you on, how happy you are. I think surveys could probably best be described as subjective. So we'll put that over there. The piece that I'm having a tough time with right now is nailing down, like, objectively, how do you know if people are happier? You know, are you getting a little clicker and clicking how many smiles that you see, you know, at month 1 versus month 6 in your class? I think there's a lot of variables to measuring objectively somebody's happiness. Not to mention that people are probably going to have different definitions from person to person what it means to be happier. I think the first part, though, is still you need to define what the goal of your group offering is. And then you need to let people know how you are actually measuring this. Our group program is designed to get you healthy and happy. Here's how we're going to know if that is coming true. Objectively, we're going to ask you to maybe take your own blood work, get some traditional health biomarkers, but really what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with this wearable tech, and let's just use the example of the Whoop band, and then we're also going to assess these, you know, benchmark metrics on a quarterly basis. And then we're also going to assess your happiness, and what we're going to ask you guys to do on a weekly basis. We're going to send you this survey. We just want you to fill it out, and we're going to track your metrics over time. Okay, so we're going to do that quarterly, and we're going to, you know, have a representative population within that group to say, is our group programming achieving these results? You know, are we getting this overlap here where people are both healthier and happier? The problem is, what happens if we get no? You know, we are doing all these things, we're doing this programming, but we're not seeing these things change. What is the issue? Are people actually measuring this? If they get a no, are they changing things? Are they looking at, you know, oh man, you know, we've been doing farmers carries and waiters walks and all this stuff in our programming, and people are a lot healthier, but let's be honest, that crap's boring. Okay, well, maybe, you know, we need to look at things, you know. So maybe we don't farmers carry 6 days out of the week, and we add in a snatch day, or working on the rings, or teaching people how to get upside down. Is it the, you know, arguably the healthiest option? No. But if we can kind of skew over here and keep people happier and therefore fill out this middle area, well then guess what? We are combining both health and happiness. And I think that that's a missing element. So I hope that makes some sense, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.